because why? We have been attempting to meet with Congressman DeLuzio over the issue of health care, over the issue of the fact that millions of people have no health care. Biden just cut 15 million people from Medicaid in the country. 15 million people were cut.
No, we didn't hear about that.
Yeah, we cut 15 million people from Medicaid. We asked DeLuzio to give us a statement on what he refuses to acknowledge that. We've been asking him how many people have lost their health care coverage because of Biden cutting these pandemic health care benefits. He refuses to do anything. In September, we asked DeLuzio to come to the Allegheny County Council. Literally, the County Council of Allegheny County had a public hearing on medical debt. There's 100 million people in the country that have medical debt. Tens of millions have no health care. We asked this congressperson, you're supposed to be a working person, you're supposed to be fighting for us. Would you come down and make a statement, give a public statement on medical debt? He refused to not only show up, never even acknowledged that the hearing was there, it was publicized. So all of his issues, he's more concerned about Israel, he's more concerned about Zionism, he's more concerned about corporations, profitability, than he really is concerned about the average working person. He has this image like Fetterman.
Let's talk Palestine, Israel.
Okay, no, but this
we
is
have a Palestinian
No,
right
wait.
here.
This is important because all of these issues are interrelated.
Important, but we're here for Palestine.
We're here. The reason we're
here.
here.
A Palestinian right here.
Hey, let me finish because all of these issues are interrelated. If you have a congressperson that refuses to talk about the basic issues and instead funds a genocide, it is something that you have to wake up to. It's something that you really have to understand, that there is no separation of domestic and foreign policy issues. And this issue about Palestine is one of the most sickening things that we should hear about today. It's obviously ethnic cleansing, the genocide that's going on, and then you have a waving of the flag for patriotism. It's just wrong.
Not in our name.
Not in our name. Right.
Not in our name. Ceasefire now.
Right.
Ceasefire now. Not in our name.
So I want to just thank everybody for coming. That we have to continue to keep the pressure on him. The fact that in this snowstorm we have so many people here is encouraging. And you say on the 20th that we're going to have another rally here.
Same place, same time.
Same place, same time. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, we do have representatives from the United Electrical Workers. If Al and John want to say something, they're against. They passed the resolution.
You want to have 10 seconds to think about it.
All right.
Yeah, our union is.
Come on in. Yeah.
Our union
We're Palestinians.
We'll get a couple pictures too. Go ahead, Al.
I'm a retired member of the United Electrical Radio Machine Workers. I used to work at the GE plant in the area. I was on the staff of the union for years. John is an international rep for our union. We were the first and so far the only union in this country to endorse BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. In 2015 we did that. Our union also initiated a petition to get other unions to call for a ceasefire once this slaughter began. And so far, what is the number up to, John? 100 some unions. I mean, a lot of local unions and several national unions have endorsed a ceasefire. The American Postal Workers Union, National Nurses United, the National Education Association. I was saving the big one until last. So a couple others I'm forgetting, I think. And a lot of regional unions, local unions, and the largest one so far, United Auto Workers, is calling for a ceasefire.
What about steel?
Are you kidding? They're still not against the Vietnam War.
Lucy is a member of the Steelworkers.
Right. So we're a member of the Steelworkers Union.
Well, you could wait a long time to get the steelworkers to oppose a war. They've never opposed any war that I know of.
Right.
But they're the exception. The early union's much more progressive than the steelworkers, thank goodness.
And everybody knows next week there's a big rally in D.C.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any connections here, the transportation and whatever, but hopefully we'll have
There's a bus being organized.
a bus
There are two buses,
Find it
one
online.
through BSM and one through Pittsburgh Coalition. So if somebody needs a ride, Pittsburgh Coalition told them.
Oh, really?
So I'm glad to see this many people
Yeah, really. This is exciting.
didn't get the message that I didn't get, but there's no
I mean, I think some even got the message and still decided to show up.
I didn't get the message. I would have. I probably wouldn't be here, but that it was gone.
Yeah, I got a picture, yeah. Maybe everybody want to come in again, we'll get another picture. All right, to lose you. We'll send it to
Yeah,
Louisville.
right. We showed up, did you?
Museo with Genocide Joe.
All right, everybody here you go.
Thanks for your sign.
John, get in here with the flag. Lower like that, you can fly out on me.
1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'll send it around to the people. Does anybody else want to make a comment? Please.
Yeah, I will.
All right, okay.
A trip in 2001 to the Middle East. I went to Syria, Jordan, and then the occupied territories. Stepped into the West Bank, met with a bunch of Christians. First time in my life I learned that there were Palestinian Christians. Did not know that because we're not raised to hear that story here. I heard about their life. I heard about how tough it was. And I thought, what can I do? I asked the girl that I was talking to, it was a youth group, maybe 17, 18-year-old kids. What can I do? And I asked her the question, this is the question that changed my life to this day. Would you rather live under Muslim rule or under the Zionists, I say Jewish at the time, but under the Israelis? I didn't expect her to say what she said. I fully expected her to say, well, our life is tough, but it's okay under the Israelis. She told me no. We've lived together in peace for over 1,000 years. And it got ruined by what has happened here. And I asked her, what can I do? And I was hoping she would say, oh, we're poor, we could use money. I would have felt like I can give you money and I can walk away after that. And it would have been great. But she said, all I want you to do is tell people what you saw. And so for 22 years, I've been trying to tell people what I saw. That's it. That's my story.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, this gentleman, you want to introduce yourself, please?
I mean, we've known each other, we've seen each other in a whole bit of rallies. My name is Ahmed. I am from Gaza. I have sisters there. I have nieces and nephews there. I have lots of family there. I mean, it's almost 90 days, and I can tell you that the situation is getting worse and worse. I mean, what we see in the news or what we see, even Instagram, it doesn't even scratch the surface of what people are going through. I mean, where do you want to start? Do you want to literally all of my sisters have been displaced from their homes. Most of them lost their homes, and just to give you the sheer of what they go through. They've literally went from one house to another, just seeking safety. To the degree that they were sheltering in one house, and then the Israeli Navy was bombing at it, so they ran for their lives, and they took their blankets with them, right? And they were more concerned about living than actually getting anything. But they literally dropped the blankets and then were running. And then their young daughter, Amal, was basically saying, you know what, I'd much rather die from shelling than from the cold. And she went back to get the blankets and came back. She survived. But this is literally what they're dealing with. Is it the cold? Is it the lack of food? Is it the lack of shelter? Is it all the bombing raining down on them? And that's and all we're asking for is a ceasefire. When we spoke with the rep, we asked him to support the ceasefire. We told him about all the people dying, and he said that's war. That's what happens with war. So this is why why we're here today. So,
It's unimaginable what they're
you know, we need to push our elected officials because they
Call
do.
every day.
They track it. They track the number of calls.
Call
They
every
track
day.
the number
Call
of
the
emails. So
president.
please, you know, we're standing in the cold, but we're all, you know, bundled up, and we're all going to go back to our own homes and be able to warm up, no problem. For them, there is no such thing. They're literally sitting there day in and day out. So we can't get tired. We can't give up. We have to continue to speak about this topic.
We will.
You know, the stories. You know, don't believe what they say to you. I can tell you story after story of people who have nothing to do with the fighting, that are being arrested and they're being tortured and they're being taken away from their families. We had a friend there that he just got released 2 days ago. He was arrested from Gaza, taken away, stripped down to his underwear, kept in a, like literally what it equates to a concentration camp for over 30 days, and he just got released. He doesn't even know if his family is still alive, right? He doesn't even know if his kids are still alive because they're not connected. And this is the story that you hear over and over and over again. And to think in this day and age, in 2023, to think that we can stand up and say that, you know what, a human life is a human life and we're all equal. We don't advocate for the killing of anyone. Our heart bled when those folks died on October 7th. But our hearts are bleeding every day since then because of the 22,000 Palestinians that have been killed, the 12,000 children that have been killed. So thank you so much for coming out. We will be back here on the 20th, so please make sure to come out on the 20th as well.
There's a great book
Thank you.
on the history of Palestine. Most of us don't know about it. It's called The Lemon Tree, and I highly recommend it. Palestine's never been able to rule themselves. First it was the Ottoman Empire, then it was the British Empire, now it's Israel. They've never had their own government. They've never been able to speak for themselves, and they're not Hamas.
Right. Anybody else want to make a statement or comment? Dan, you want to say anything?
Weren't you there recently?
Yeah, I guess I'll
You were in
just
the West
speak a little
Bank?
bit. Yeah, I just got back from the West Bank 3 weeks ago, made it to Bethlehem as
Tell
well.
us who you are.
My name's Dan Kamalik, and I'm a lawyer in town, also recently a professor at the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. And I went to the West Bank in early December. And, you know, while the world, of course, is focusing on Gaza, and it should be, Israel's taken that opportunity to really attack the West Bank. They've killed over 350, I think it's up to over 400 people at this point since October 7th in the West Bank. Arrested over 3,000 people since October 7th. And they're increasing the demolitions of Palestinian homes there, and the settlements. They're really taking the opportunity, again, of the world not paying attention to what's happening there, to start taking over the West Bank and exercise a lot more control there as well. And of course, the fear is that once they're finished with Gaza, that they'll turn all their guns against the West Bank. And they have been demolishing refugee camps there. I mean, they have been attacking refugee camps in a big way and destroying housing there. So it's a very serious situation. You probably know the patriarchs, the Christian patriarchs of Bethlehem, literally canceled Christmas. They wrote a letter to Biden saying we're canceling Christmas. We can't celebrate while our brothers and sisters in Gaza are being killed. And it was a very somber mood there when I was there, of course. No lights, no Christmas lights, no trees. You probably saw the creche, the famous creche at the Lutheran Church of Jesus in the rubble.
I visited that church.
Yeah, a baby in rubble, saying that's where Jesus would be now. So yeah, it's a terrible situation. And whatever we do every day for Palestine, it's worth it, because it is a genocide that's happening.
No question.
And you know, everything, even the New York Times is saying, and the Washington Post and the AP, this is the worst conflict we have seen since World War II in terms of the rate of deaths, the rate of death of children. More children are being killed per hour in Gaza than during the Holocaust. And so we need to stand with those people.
And there'll be more dying from dysentery and contagious diseases.
Well, according to the UN, 4 out of 5 people in the world facing famine live in Gaza. Over half the population is facing Gaza. A Guardian article from about a week ago said within the year they expect 250,000 Gazans to die from starvation or disease related to starvation. So it's
Never, like when you hear about wars,
yeah.
usually when you say there's a war, right? You actually people get the truth. You've never heard of a war where people actually are kept in lots of place while the war is still happening. And that is why more and more people die. They're not even letting people leave. Like if you wanted to leave from Gaza, if you had a place even to go to Egypt, you literally have to pay $12,000 to get your name on a list to cross into Egypt. How many people in Gaza have $12,000?
And they can't even fight back.
Yeah, they're corralling everyone. They're corralling everyone into Rafah and just bombing them and not letting them out. I mean, it's insane. So anyway, thank you everyone for coming.
And we should make sure that wherever the Delusios or the Fettermans or whoever goes, we should attack them, follow them, harass them, because these are the people that are not fomenting but funding this genocide in our name. So anybody else want to make a comment, make a statement?
Well, you know, Bob Casey's running for re-election, and this guy is hidden. I mean, he's been an Israel backer forever. He's one of the biggest Israel backers, one of the biggest recipients of AIPAC money in the Senate. He's keeping a very low profile. A few weeks ago, about a month ago, my union organized an event where we made appointments. We went to Fetterman's office and met with 2 of his staff in Pittsburgh. They were just there to listen, so we gave them an earful. We had several members from the co-op, we had a member from Planned Parenthood, we have a couple of people from the staff, and our members gave them an earful, and they just took notes and passed it on. We never heard back from Fetterman. So then we had a meeting set up with Casey. Casey's staff wanted us to do a Zoom call with somebody at their headquarters, their office in Washington. So we did, from the UE office downtown. And we gave this person actually told us what he thought after we were done, and he actually agreed with us. But he was a young guy, I'm sure he doesn't have much influence there. But Casey's going to be coming to Pittsburgh to run for re-election. I think any campaign event that Bob Casey has in the Pittsburgh area, he needs to be confronted by people demanding that he stop supporting genocide.
Why are they stuck with supporting Israel? Where do they get the money? Israel
AIPAC.
6%.
AIPAC is going to spend $100 million.
Where do they get their money?
Billionaires.
The Jews are only like 6% of our
They're going to spend
population.
$100 million to defeat a handful of members of the House, including Summer Lee, who had the nerve to call for a ceasefire. We're going to have the biggest political fight of my life this April to save Summer Lee from the attacks of the Zionists, who are going to spend millions of dollars trying to destroy her.
And remember, the Zionists, there's more people that call themselves Zionists than there are Jews. So
Joe Biden is one of them.
Biden,
So you want to know where the money comes from? There's a large group of those Christian Zionists that are funding a lot of this.
And that's a very important distinction for us when we're speaking of not to mix our Jewish brothers and sisters with the Zionists. Because that's completely, because some of the most outspoken quotes, some of the people that put their life on the line for this cause have been our Jewish brothers and sisters. So it's not about religion. It is about the fact that like even Benjamin Netanyahu himself, who quotes God now every other speech, is the most secular person you'll meet. Like he is not a religious person. They do that to put us against each other. That is not the case. Okay, so please make sure you make that distinction clear, because anti-Semitism Israel, anti-Islamophobia Israel, we don't want to mix the two together. So let's stay focused on our goal, which is we want everybody to be free. We want everybody to live in peace, and that is regardless of their faith or
worked either way.
So there is.
Well, if
there
you
is-
live in the 12th district, vote for Summer
Summer
Lee.
Lee.
She is one of the handful that is standing up for
And I
peace.
did, and I will absolutely.
It's very important, if you're in Summer Lee's district, it's very important to register as a Democrat prior to the primaries, because her challenge is not going to be on general election. Her challenge is going to be in the primary fight. So the ladies out of Swissville who is running or planning to run against her in the primaries have already signaled that she's going to take APAC money. And she is, you know, like literally she does not stand for any politics. She ran for election 5 times. Finally got made it to the Swissville Council.
Who is this?
The lady that's going to run against Summer Lee
Oh.
in the primaries, the Democratic primaries. So
She's a good one then.
No, she's terrible. She's
not a good
the,
one.
she's the
Not a
APAC
good Summer Lee.
candidate.
Oh,
She's against the Palestinians living, yeah.
They literally they had last time they had like an 18% or almost 20% lead leading into the election, the primaries, and the money started funneling in, and they wiped that lead just like that. They still were able to overcome just because of knocking on the doors and the grassroots movement. But money, like somebody, I was listening to this a gentleman speaking, and he said that senators and congressmen and women that outraise their opponents win 90% of the time on the Congress side, and they win 86% on the Congress side. So if the congressman outraises the other, like so if you're running for election and they outraise you, they will defeat you. So we can't have that happen. We gotta do what we can do. This year, yeah.
This year. He has no opponent in the primary, so we're stuck with him. But we need to give him every bit of hell we can.
Honestly, and I know this sounds crazy, but voting for a Republican against Casey coming up will teach them a lesson. And that's what the folks are asking about abandon Biden. It's the idea of who knows who's going to be running against each other, so we'll have to wait till election. But if it's going to come down to Biden versus Trump, vote for a third party person, and still send a signal out that for Democrats you can't take us for granted anymore. If you truly want our vote, then you have to actually value the values that we value, and not the money that you get from
If
politics.
we don't vote for Biden, we'll get Trump.
We've already had Trump for 4 years.
Yeah.
We already know what we're going to do.
Oh,
Well, we had to Biden, and he went to stab us in the back. And at least when we can all galvanize against our faith right now is divided, because half the people are saying we're going to vote for Biden and the other half is not going to vote. So Biden's split in the minority party.
I don't want to vote for him, but I don't want Trump. Our democracy is gone. I believe that.
Then we have to pray really
There's no
hard.
safeguards
Then
with
we
them.
have to pray really hard that God takes both of them before the election comes. And that's one of them.
Trump's deranged syndrome.
Well, I just saw an article the other day from Newsweek, and the headline was, Biden volunteers quitting, quote, in droves.
By the hundreds. I saw by the
Yeah,
hundreds,
people
right?
who had previously volunteered to help re-elect
His own
Biden saying,
staff.
I quit.
His own
His own
staff.
staff is quitting. No one wants, I mean, how many people are in favor of genocide?
In fact,
How many people want to go and campaign door to door? Hey, vote for Genocide Joe. He's the best guy.
That's a good one. Genocide Joe, yes.
There's already an article in Israeli media saying that Benjamin Netanyahu have already abandoned Biden, knowing that he's not going to win the election next year. So they're already 15 years
They
anyway.
prefer Trump.
But thanks everyone for coming out. We are going to be back here on the 20th. And if you can make it out
People
on the
united to never
13th,
be
please do.
defeated.
Thank you.
I was already in my car.
I wasn't looking at the listserv.
I wasn't either.
So I guess that's good or not good, but anyway.
And the gummies
How long is it going to take?
the hearings this Thursday.
Yes, that's
Really?
It's a lot of judges.
I have never actually. I've been to the West Bank.
So the station again next door?
This
Oh, okay.